The throne hall of Delverin Prime shimmered with unnatural light, bioluminescent chandeliers pulsing above, a living mosaic shifting across the floor. Foreign dignitaries lined both sides of the hall in cloaks of silk and metal. Sarelian guards stood motionless, their obsidian armor humming faintly. Commander Alara Voss kept her head low, posture relaxed, eyes half-lidded. Her translator badge blinked a soft amber. She stood near the base of the throne dais, silent among the crowd, her identity buried beneath layers of synthetic biometrics. She didn't need to speak. Not yet. At the far end, Sovereign Talverin IX descended the central spire staircase, flanked by his wives and war ministers. His cloak dragged behind him like a banner of black fire. Every step echoed with engineered reverence. He stopped, eyes sweeping the room. "Ah," he said, spreading his arms wide. "To all present, welcome to the last true empire in this rotting galaxy." Polite laughter followed, rehearsed and obedient. Alara's face remained passive. Her heart rate held steady. Beneath her skin, microfilaments pulsed. Inside her skull, a voice hummed. "AI uplink ready? All systems green. Targets present." She responded internally, "Not yet." Talverin's speech meandered through trade pacts, sovereignty, and off-world rights. Then he veered. "There are whispers," he said, voice amplified, "that a human walks among us today." Alara's spine didn't flinch, though the crowd's energy shifted. "They say some vermin escaped their extinction," Talverin continued, descending the stairs slowly, one hand resting on the hilt of his ceremonial blade. "That somehow, humanity, primitive, weak, and obsolete, still lingers in forgotten corners of the void." Murmurs now. Suspicion in every glance. "I'd be quite curious to meet such a relic," he said, stopping 2 steps above Alara. He looked directly at her. She looked up. A single pause stretched a moment. His eyes narrowed. "You," he said. 2 guards stepped forward. A hovering drone emerged from the ceiling and scanned her badge. Red light flickered once, then turned green. "Translation ID verified, error. Unregistered genome detected." Another scan. This time, her eyes. "Genetic match, Homo sapiens. Origin Soul System. Status extinct. Override flagged." The hall fell silent. Talverin's grin widened. "So," he whispered, "it's true." He moved suddenly. Alara didn't resist. His boot struck her chest, and she flew backward, crashing down the white steps, her back slamming against the polished floor. The crowd gasped. Someone laughed, nervous, unsure. Alara lay still, letting blood fill her mouth. Her vision blurred, then refocused. Around her, silence echoed. The Sovereign's voice carried again. "Let this be the last of her kind." She wiped her mouth and sat up. A single thread of red slipped down her chin. He expected rage. She gave him a smile. "Do you think you've done something permanent?" she asked softly. He raised a brow. "You still speak?" Her smile sharpened. "Good. That means your neural net is still vulnerable." The lights flickered. The AI's voice returned. "Phase 1 initiated. Target 1 already down." Talverin frowned. "What did you say?" Alara stood without effort. Her cloak dropped, revealing the black underweave of her suit, thin like skin, pulsing with living circuitry. "You just started a countdown," she said. Security rushed forward. Alara tapped the implant behind her ear. A concussive pulse erupted outward, disabling local drones and scrambling the palace's surveillance. In the confusion, she moved, fluid, silent, unstoppable, through a maintenance hatch behind a shifting tapestry of moving sand. The hall descended into chaos. Talverin shouted orders. His guards formed a perimeter. But she was already gone. In the narrow tunnels beneath the palace, Alara's breathing slowed. Her injuries were already sealing. Nanites worked silently beneath her skin. She removed the translator badge and crushed it underfoot. "Status update," she whispered. 3 targets eliminated. Talvarin's heir died in his sleep. Grand Admiral's cruiser suffered critical failure. Princess Leia disintegrated during warp jump. Current impact, destabilization cascade initiated. She paused near a hatch, watching data stream across her left retina. News reports already swirled in the outer systems. Accidents, they called them. Isolated malfunctions. She smiled again, but this time there was no warmth. They'll connect the dots soon enough. Authorization to proceed to Phase 2? Elara hesitated. She looked at her hand, flexing fingers once made human, now something far beyond. She remembered a planet burning. Blue oceans turned black. Her father's voice, defiant before they executed him live. The crowd cheering his death. She whispered, "Proceed." On the throne, Talvarin stared at the holographic feed now glitching across the room. One by one, names of royal family members turned red. His voice cracked. "Get me the Empress Dowager. Now." No one moved. Then he looked down the steps where Elara had fallen minutes ago. She had vanished. He stood in silence, heart pounding. Somewhere in the back of his mind, a single thought pushed forward. What if she's not the last of them? Elara descended into the underbelly of Delverin Prime like a ghost. Beneath the Imperial Palace, the city's maintenance corridors twisted through forgotten power stations, nanofiber ducts, and obsolete defense tunnels. She moved with purpose. Her suit adapted to the darkness, pulsing faintly along her limbs as if it breathed. External communications blocked. Internal systems online. Awaiting Phase 2 directive. Confirmed, she whispered. Above her, the court devolved into panic. She didn't need to hear it to know. They'd realize 3 royal deaths in 1 hour wasn't coincidence. They'd start sealing planets, hunting for shadows. It wouldn't matter. They were already too late. She reached a circular hatch, locked by biometrics older than most civilizations. She placed her hand on the pad. It hissed, scanned, and opened. Inside waited her weapons, silent, precise tools for erasing bloodlines. Talvarin stood before a hollow map, its red zones expanding. Dead. 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 He pointed to each blinking dot with increasing disbelief. 3 of my blood in less than an hour? The war minister stammered. Possibly sabotage. Possibly coordinated. Coordinated? Talvarin spat. This is war. That woman. He stopped. She didn't come here to hide. He whispered. She came to end us. Shall we enact Bloodline protocol, sire? Talvarin hesitated, then nodded once. Yes. No more diplomacy. No more appearances. Erase her. The embryo vault was buried in a frozen moon 2 systems away, beneath 7 kilometers of reinforced alloy and ancestral protocols. Elara's ship, a compact, black-winged interceptor, moved undetected through the moon's crust. Her clearance had been embedded within its systems for 3 years. She entered the vault silently. Thousands of chromatic pods lined the walls, each holding a potential heir to the Sorel throne. Genetic perfection preserved in artificial wombs. Embryonic neuroresonance confirmed. Target, Royal Genetic Seed Bank. She looked around the chamber. Rows of unborn kings. Future tyrants. Seeds of future extinction events, genocides, silenced rebellions. Each one was a name that would, someday, be carved into the necks of conquered species. She didn't hesitate. Override safety. Begin sterilization. Warning. Action irreversible. I know. A thin mist filled the chamber, nanoscopic. Silent. Lethal only to engineered Sarlian DNA. She watched as status indicators blinked from green to black, one by one. Lineage sterilized. All stored embryos terminated. No retrieval possible. Elara stood in the stillness, the only sound a distant pulse from cooling generators. She whispered, "No more kings." Flashback. Titan, Earth's largest moon. Cold winds roared across a scarred facility. Elara was 12, barefoot in a pressure-sealed tunnel, watching a recorded broadcast projected on the ice wall. Her father knelt before a galactic execution squad. He had refused to hand over navigation keys during the Federation betrayal. He smiled at the camera before they activated the vaporizer. His body vanished in a white flash. The feed cut. Silence returned. Her mother crouched beside her. "Do you understand now?" she asked. Elara nodded. "They fear us." "No," her mother corrected. "They fear what we become when cornered." Talvarin watched the report flash across his private feed. Royal seed bank destroyed. Genetic vault compromised. Total loss. His lips trembled. That vault was secure, untouchable. One of his advisors stepped forward. "Sire, we believe she used a precursor infiltration protocol. The vault recognized her as one of your own." "She's not one of mine," he snapped. The room went silent. Talvarin sat heavily, hands shaking. "Send assassins. Send prophets. Send AI Reapers. I want her found." On board her ship, Elara calibrated her next strike. The AI updated her. 2 remaining heirs. 1 en route to Helier. 1 in orbit around New Kairos. She selected New Kairos. The heir there, Prince Velkin, was a diplomat cloaked in charm. Underneath, he funded slave markets and bioweapon experiments on fringe colonies. Elara had watched him for years. He once toasted at a party. "Human extinction was the best thing that happened to us." Now she smiled. Velkin lounged in his orbital residence. Glass, light, music. The glass shattered before he could react. Elara stepped through the broken window, silent as gravity. Her suit absorbed the alarms before they could trigger. She moved with clinical precision. Velkin raised his hands. Wait, I'm not armed." "That's your first mistake," she said. A flash of silver. The blade slipped between his ribs. He choked. "Who are you?" She leaned in. "A lesson you were too arrogant to learn." He fell before he could respond. She didn't look back. "1 heir remains. Final phase ready." Talvarin paced the throne room, lit only by emergency strobes. "She's not human," he muttered. "She's worse," the Empress Dowager said from her seat near the flame altar. Her face was pale, her breath short. "You knew her father, didn't you?" he asked. She nodded. "He saved my life once. During the Terran riots. I told him I'd repay him one day." "You repaid him with death." Her eyes locked onto his. "No. You did." Elara stared at the final route plotted in her neural HUD. Talvarin was all that remained. The last monarch? The final breath of a broken line. She sat in the pilot's chair, fingers steady. "Phase 3 authorization required." She didn't answer immediately. Outside her viewport, stars shifted. For a moment, she remembered Earth's sky, long gone. Then she whispered, "Authorization granted." The throne hall was empty. No courtiers. No ministers. No ceremonial drums. Just silence, thick and waiting. Talvarin 9 sat slouched on his throne, armor half-clasped, crown crooked. He hadn't slept. The chamber smelled faintly of fear and burnt incense. A fractured datapad lay at his feet. Red notifications blinked across every surface. Royal family status, deceased. Vaults destroyed. Last heir terminated. He stared ahead, eyes unfocused. Footsteps echoed. Soft, unhurried, deliberate. He lifted his head slowly. Elara Vaz stood at the far end of the hall, alone. No cloak. No mask. Her suit shimmered faintly, pulsing with power. The mark of humanity glowed behind her irises, liquid circuits tracing ancient vengeance. "I thought you'd send another drone," he rasped. "I wanted this part to be personal." Talvarin rose slowly, voice bitter. "You think this makes you powerful?" "No," she said. "It makes me history's correction." He scoffed. "You've turned vengeance into ritual." "I've turned your throne into an echo," she replied. "Nothing answers when it calls now." His eyes narrowed. "You speak like a machine." I speak like a survivor, she said. He stepped down from the dais, one slow step at a time. What will killing me fix? Earth is still ash. Her voice dropped. Earth remembers. Talvarin froze. She continued, Our oceans may be gone, but our grief calcified. Our silence wasn't surrender, it was calculation. You're just a ghost. No, she said. I'm the reckoning. He drew a ceremonial blade, jagged, half symbol, half weapon. I've faced rebels, monsters, assassins. She was in front of him before he could finish. She didn't strike. She just looked at him. You made the mistake every empire makes, she said quietly. You thought pain erased memory. He lunged. She sidestepped. The blade passed air. She grabbed his arm, twisted. He dropped the sword with a sharp cry. Please, he whispered. I watched my father die for trying to save your mother. His mouth opened. No sound came out. She leaned in. You inherited cruelty. I was engineered for justice. Outside the palace, every screen in orbit lit up. Civilian broadcasts. Military channels. Trade beacons. Emergency alerts. A single live feed took over, the throne hall, from above. Talvarin kneeling. Elara, standing over him. He stared at the camera, realization dawning. You're broadcasting this? To everyone your empire fed on, she said. No trial. No court? This is the court. And your crimes were never secret. He reached for something beneath his robe. She shot through his hand. The gun clattered away. He screamed, falling sideways. Elara spoke, not to him, but to the feed. To the systems watching, know this, we never vanished. We rebuilt where your eyes stopped looking. You erased our records but not our resolve. You hunted us to extinction and missed. Her voice was steady, calm, without fury. We are human. We don't forget. Talvarin groaned, blood pooling under his body. She knelt beside him. You're not worth a bullet. His lips trembled. Then what will you do? She placed her hand on his temple. AI interface locked. Neural bridge engaged. Broadcasting consciousness. His eyes widened. No. Too late. His memories surged into the live feed. Billions watched his mind unravel. Deals made in blood, laughter at genocide, the execution orders he signed with wine in hand. The truth spilled from him like a dam broken wide. He screamed. And then he was still. The throne was empty. Elara stepped away. All targets neutralized. Bloodline terminated. Galactic Witness Index confirmed. Her eyes dimmed. Her mission was complete. But her war wasn't over. 3 days later, a dark fleet emerged from Saturn's shadow. Silent ships, coated in stealth polymers, shaped like razors, driven by hybrid precursor drives, crossed into open space. Their codes had been forged decades ago. They bore no flags. Only a message. Humanity has returned. Elara stood aboard the flagship Memory. Titan's surface glowed beneath her, her birthplace, once just a bunker in a moon of ice. Now, it was a cradle for something far greater. A young cadet approached her, nervous. Commander Voss, the broadcasts reached every quadrant. She nodded. Some systems are offering surrender. Others are panicking. They should be, she said. The cadet hesitated. What now? Elara looked out into the stars. We don't rule, she said. We remember. And we don't let them forget again. The ship hummed to life. Outside, more vessels ignited their drives. For the first time in centuries, Earth's children were not running. They were advancing.